Ladies and gentlemen, he's a walking cam reconciliation.
No.
Hold on a second.
Stop right there. No, stop right there. I just remembered that I promised, because you carry all the water, man. I promised to do the intros, right? Last time I said this. I said, I'm going to intro. I'm going to pretend to be MC. The whole thing, man. You do too much. You have a servant heart. So hold on.
Okay.
You have such a servant heart. Okay, let's fresh start.
All right, here we go.
3, 2, 1. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Sales Life. This is Sean Ward. I'm with my best friend who I've never met. His name is Justin Ryder. Justin, how are you, buddy?
Sean, I'm doing well. Thank you for that intro. That was great.
Okay. That's all I got.
Yeah, no, it felt awesome. And by the way, did not plan on saying that you're a walking cam reconciliation, but that's what came out. I saw that. I have no idea what that means.
I don't either. But it's so good. That's super niche. Yeah, very niche.
Let me ask you a surprise question to kick off our discussion today, which is the part 2 of the Intangible series, the intangible skills.
Intangibles. Sounds like a superhero series.
Yeah, I like that. That sounds super cool. How do you keep your sales life crisp and fresh during the summer months?
Sales life?
How do you keep your sales life crisp and fresh and moving during the summer when things get a little slower and people are on vacation and your kids are home? You're feeling it right now. I'm feeling it, or at least I'm feeling it. How do you keep the train moving forward?
Well, I just lean into it, man. I live vicariously through my kids right now. Like, they got out for summer and I'm like, I felt happy, first day of summer, everybody's kind of laying around in the morning and I just got back from the gym and showered and I'm walking out the door. Like, literally my 9-year-old, he's like, where are you going? It's summer. Like, he forgot that I still work. But I don't know. I went to work and I come home and because it's light out later, I still have time with it. I don't know. I just kind of embrace the summer vibe. Yeah. That, and in summer, here's a little thing I started doing 2 years ago. I only read fiction in the summer.
Oh my gosh, this is crazy.
That's just like it's like a little mental break. It's a hack.
This is why you're known as the Ernest Hemingway of LinkedIn. It's like, I only read fiction. So what's on the docket? What's the fiction on the docket? Little Harry Potter?
Last year I was on vacation and the house had like a bookcase which just said, take anything you want, take it home. It was cool. And I started reading like a Dean Koontz novel. And I ended up reading like 3 of them last summer. Like, I don't know, probably just go back to that. Or I have a goal to read the Brothers Karamazov, which is this 900-page book, but that doesn't feel light. So I'm probably not going to do that this summer.
Yeah. No, that's really good.
Yeah. What about you?
Those are great. Man, it's a good question. I mean, what prompted this is there were a series of posts recently in our industry. By the way, welcome if you're listening to this outside of the commercial real estate industry. But that's, my feed's filled with a lot of brokers, and one of them posted the other day about like, hey, it's Sunday at 4. I just got done with a pitch meeting, and just listed a property, and people started firing up. It's like, oh yeah, I do so much on the weekends or whatever. And I just replied and said, maybe that's a cheat code of being in a tertiary market of 340,000 people, is like, most of my people let Sundays be Sundays. Like, if I called a couple of my clients on Sunday, they probably wouldn't answer the phone. And maybe it's a little bit slower. Maybe I'm not as motivated as some of the people. I'm not saying it's like hustle culture. Like, I'm not saying it's a bad thing or an evil thing, but I'm not that super motivated on Sunday to try and do pitch meetings.
I've learned the hard way because I burned myself out for grinding for, I think it was 19 years before I hit a wall.
19 years.
Of just like working really hard. Yeah.
Yeah.
And now those last few years were, I wasn't as effective, but I was still giving it my all. And then 19 years, I'm 22 years in now. 19 years in, it was like, dude, I just couldn't do it anymore. I literally burned myself out. I had to take 6 weeks off. It was, you and I have talked a little bit about this. I don't know if we've ever talked about it here. Maybe one day.
No, we have not
in some depth. But I think there's a season for everything. And you know what? If you're a few years in and you're 23 years old and you want to just grind, and on 4th of July at 3 p.m. be making cold calls, I think you should do it. I don't want to judge you for it. I'm going to say, though, if you want to do this long term, you got to get in a rhythm where you let your body relax at certain times of the year. And so I've just gravitated towards, the times when the industry slows down, 4th of July, Christmas to New Year's, Thanksgiving, I'm going to take advantage of that. I'm going to slow down too. I'm not a machine. I thought I was. I'm not a machine. I need some breaks. So mental summer break. I'm already taking the summer vibes right now. I love it. I had just had a birthday. I like this time of year is always a fun time for me because it's like when you're a kid, school's out. I have my birthday. It's like summer. Everybody's happy, So it's all good, man.
Man, I think I may have missed your birthday.
It's okay.
Happy birthday, by the way.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
I'm mailing your gift as being mailed. It's probably stuck in the mail, but it'll be there soon. Probably tomorrow. Okay. Nice. Well, that's good. Summer vibes. All that being said, we have a crucial topic to finish off today. And, the intangibles was our effort to sort of challenge each other and invite our audience into this idea that there are skills in sales that are intangible. Call them emotional, call them EQ skills, and that it's those soft skills that actually makes you dangerous as a broker. Those sleek skills, those sort of under the radar things that brokers do to get deals done, and it's one of our most downloaded episodes ever. So I think people are going to love part 2,
really?
Sort of getting into tips and tricks on how to get deals done.
I went back this morning and listened to a bit of that episode just to try and remember what we talked about, right? Once you hit a certain age, like me, Justin, you have a hard time remembering things. And I was listening to it and I thought, you know what, this is like good stuff. I actually thought like, hey, we delivered some value. Like, I think the stuff we talked about as in that episode, the last episode, and hopefully it carries into this one. I think it's hugely important. We've talked a lot about how you get hired in this industry and how you can get in front of prospects and how you become better at like getting an opportunity. But like, we get paid for, you posted it today, we get paid for outcomes, right? We get paid for closed transactions. And there's just some, I just look at my own office. There's some guys who can get deals done all the time. And then there's other folks who just they struggle. They might get the opportunity, but it just doesn't come together. And I think it's all these intangibles, soft skills, EQ. I mean, let's just start. First one, it's a huge amount of self-awareness you have to have, right? And I think you were talking about a story where some broker said to you, like, hey, we've brokered this thing already.
That's right.
Right, weren't you talking?
Yeah, that's exactly where we left off in part 1, was this idea of overbrokering a deal and having the self-awareness to, as you said, to recognize when you've sort of done your job and you're either relying on other parties that, and by the way, I want to get into that big time with other parties and how you treat attorneys and paralegals and, other people around that, because often in this industry, which is like crazy, the arena of commercial real estate, you're working with people that are compensated in some ways or at sometimes opposite you. That's right. Like you and I are compensated for the most part. I don't know the ins and outs of every deal, but we're compensated when the deal closes, when
Right.
the lease is signed, when the sale or when the sale culminates. Other professionals are compensated maybe by the hour or by the project, and so there's
Yeah.
different interpretations of how long things should last. Obviously from our perspective, as quickly as possible, as efficiently as possible is what we want. And that can lead you at a time to sort of outside of the scope of your own self-awareness, push too hard, push too far, burn bridges. And yet you also have to fight for your client, right? So, but you don't want to overbroker it.
I think of overbrokering as, let's put it this way: the biggest transaction I was ever a part of, it was a $300 million lease. One lease deal. It's total value $300 million. I did very, very little work in the transaction, and now the temptation would be like, hey, this is my big opportunity, my big deal, and you want to put, I want to put my fingerprints all over it. It's not my job in that transaction was just to get the parties to the table, and then these were very competent big companies dealing with each other that had teams of people to negotiate legal points and C-suite people to negotiate deal terms. Like the broker wasn't going to be the one pulling the strings there. So the temptation in overbrokering is like, hey, the clients are happy. They're largely happy, but you think you could do a little bit better. You're tempted to want to get a little bit more for your client. I understand the temptation. It's like you want to earn those attaboys and do really well, but dang it. It's I've seen it just backfires. You just end up overbrokering it, you overcook it, and it does not work out well.
Yeah, that is the point of, like, when you make it about you versus the project, that's where you're going to run into a ton of issues. And so, ego is a no-go. That was part of what when I listened to a few of the biggest points from episode 1, it was that. It was having the self-awareness and the maturity, which often does not come your way in your early to mid 20s per se. So at least it didn't for me. So be aware of that. And assume that you are going to lean into that. Like, I need to prove myself and my value, when sometimes the broker's part is over.
Totally. I mean, keeping your ego out of a deal is, and I know we did talk about this last time, it's just the biggest part of it. It's, we, by nature of what we do, we deal with egos, right? Like a lot of my clients, your clients, like people who, and I don't mean this in a bad way. These are people who these are like significant people. Like they built something, you got to keep it in mind. Like we're the service provider. They're the client. Like our ego is not part of the calculation, right? Like if anybody's going to inject an ego into the deal, it's going to be the clients. Like our job is to keep ours out. It just kills me every time, a broker in my space gets all puffed up about themselves because you can make some money, and I think money inflates egos. The brokers puff themselves up, and I'm like, dude, you're just selling concrete boxes on behalf of your wealthy client. Like it's just not, we're not curing cancer over here. So keep your ego out of it. Yeah.
Let me say, and then you can take us to the next point, but to finish this up, I want to say one thing about other people involved in a deal, in the conundrum that so many people in our industry find yourself in when you're trying to get other people in other professions to do stuff to get it done. Okay. So this is often the most frustrating part of my day. It's like, I need someone who I have no influence or authority over in this periphery role in this transaction to make a move or do something. And all I can basically do is say to them, like, would you please do this? And they could easily say, you have no authority to ask. Like, I have 3 other things. No, I won't do this. I won't send this wire. I won't do this, or I won't figure out these forms. Like, I don't have to. And you're telling me to do that is like, so I always think, Sean, I'm in a small town, as you know, so it's easy for me to have this mentality because we work with the same people over and over again. Right. So if you have a mentality of don't steamroll people into getting the deal done, like as a broker, as you fight for your client, it's insanely easy to venture into steamrolling people as opposed to carefully, patiently building the relationship so that people want to be on your side.
Ooh,
those paralegals, those attorneys, they see you in a deal and they're like, man, totally. I want to do a great job for this person. I want to get this done.
You just triggered something in my brain, like the concept, the acronym WIFM. What's in it for me? Every person in the deal, every person, there's something in it for them. Including your escrow officer, everybody. There's something in it for them. Figure out what's in it for everybody in the deal, not just buyer and seller, landlord, tenant. The broker on the other side. And some people are, in it to maximize fees. Some people are in it to minimize fees. Some people are in it to just take the stress out of it, make it as easy as possible. Some are trying to do a job well done for their boss. Like, you figure out what's in it for everybody, and just be aware of that. Like, it's not like you have to manipulate anything, but just be aware, like what motivates everybody in the transaction is probably slightly different for everyone.
That's really good.
Yeah. It triggered another thought. Like, one of my best friends, two of my best friends in the whole world, I started in this business with. I met them through real estate. I've worked with them for 20 plus years. One of them is a neighbor. He lives right a couple doors down. And his name is Scott. He is absolutely one of the best salespeople I know, period. End of story. You can put him up against anybody in real estate. And I mean it in the best sense of the word. Like, he not car salesman, like pressure tactics at all. He's just like very thoughtful, really cares about his clients. And he told me something which I thought was great. He said at the end of a deal, he'll go and email like the boss of the people he works with and just compliment them, saying what a great job they did. I'm like, dude, that is such a good idea. So if you're working with like a leasing manager, and he does a lot of office leasing, right? He'll go to like the VP of leasing and say, hey, just want to let you know, so-and-so did an amazing job in this transaction. I just, thought you'd want to know. Like that type of stuff. Talk about intangible, but like you are just stacking up goodwill on your side for years to come. You're winning fans. You're making it just a nicer place to work, a better environment. Like, there's just that little extra effort. It pays dividends. Yeah, I thought that was a good one. I got to start incorporating that a bit more.
That is really good. And send gift cards. Send a
totally.
To everyone. Send a $25 Starbucks gift card or something like that. I'm not saying you have to spend thousands and thousands of dollars, but just the acknowledgement has just gone a long way for me.
You do a good job of that with gifts, right? Closing gifts.
Yeah. I mean, it's handwritten notes, restaurant gift cards. It may sound cheap and easy, but if someone gives me a gift card that covers like a date night, it's just it's unbelievably convenient and fun, and where you go out and you feel like we can order anything and it doesn't really matter.
Totally.
That's a great gift, and it's so easy.
It's so good.
There's not a rich person on earth that doesn't appreciate someone buying their lunch.
1,000%. I was just gonna say a friend of mine. We've been going through. I haven't had a kitchen in 3 years, right? And I was, a friend of mine the other day. He sent me a card and opened it up to my wife and I, and in it was, I was just gonna say, it was $500 worth of Grubhub gift certificates. Right? Like, and this came out of nowhere. And he's like, dude, I just was thinking about you guys basically are living off a takeout, and you were only supposed to be doing that a couple months, and it's turned into 3 years. And like, can I tell you how much that gesture meant to me? Now, I don't even know where we are in our deal-making intangible point here, but to your point, it meant so much to my wife and I. Like, we were crying. We got the gift cards. We were like crying about.
Wow.
Like it was really impactful. So, and you know, it could have been $50. It didn't even matter. It's like, but just the thought that went into, hey, we see your situation. We want to make it a little bit easier. It was so freaking nice, dude. That stuff, that's the best stuff in the world.
Sean, speaking of nice, in summer mode, this is unplanned, but I have a little gift here from you, my friend. Not only did I not send you Grubhub, which I'm going to today, or acknowledge your birthday, which I'm so sorry for being selfish, but I've got a box here from you. It says Justin Ryder Sales Life.
I sent that a while ago. Almost forgot about it.
Okay, so let's see here, Sean. If I open
You can't open it yet. You can't open it yet.
No, don't open it?
No.
Okay.
Well, you can.
Wait.
No. Oh, you know
All
what?
right.
What the heck? Open it. Go for it. Just do it.
I was going to say, you're really going to keep our audience on the...
Yeah. Open it.
All right, I'm trying here. I need a knife.
So I'll set this up. Well, Justin fumbles. This is, folks, I hope you know how well thought out these episodes are. Usually we'll call each other and say, what should we talk about? And then we talk for 5 minutes and then start rolling. What Justin is opening right now, I think it's safe to say, it's even hard to talk over all the... I'll let you get it open.
People are going to love this. Wow. Okay.
This is going to be the loudest. It's a lot of bubble wrap.
There's so much bubble wrap, but this is amazing, Sean. Oh my gosh. This is a bottle of...
That is a bottle of my favorite tequila.
Tequila. This is your favorite tequila.
This is Fortaleza. This is small batch, pure, no additives. You know how hard it is to get this stuff? You try and find Fortaleza out on the market, and you will struggle. So it gets delivered at Bevmo once a month. The delivery driver buys all the cases, sells it to other small liquor stores in the area. They take that and mark it up. So these bottles go for like $200+, even though they sell at $70 at Bevmo, but they're consistently out of stock.
Wow.
I found
this
one
is
for you,
really
buddy.
Awesome. And again, I've sent you nothing, but that's going to change very, very soon. But I'm just I'm so touched. I'm wondering if I should drink it right now.
It's a little early. No, you know what the spirit of this was? I mean, this is speaking of summer slowdown, right? We launched this thing in January. I feel like we're coming to the end of this first season of our little podcast journey, right?
Yeah, well, we both have summer vacations coming up. We've chatted about the idea of like ending season 1, obviously taking a little break before we come back. And then we're also working on, by now, we're working on this course as well, which has taken some of the very few recording hours that you and I have that happen to cross. We've also given a ton of time to that. So, yeah. But we need a happy hour episode of Sales Life at some point.
So I think that's how we end our first season. You crack that thing open, and I'll crack mine open, and we'll have a drink.
I'm
drink
sending
or two together
you
to celebrate.
I'm going to send you. It won't be hard for you to guess what type of liquor it is.
Is it brown?
It is. Yes, I will be sending you my favorite bourbon. You can open it on the next episode. Anyway, that being said, what intangibles? Sorry, from tequila back to Intangibles. Sean, we need to wrap this up. This is part 2 of intangibles.
Yeah. It's perfect. Let me check my notes. Did we cover it all?
Did we cover all of the intangibles that you feel are very important?
I think so. With a one parting comment, it's embracing a mindset of something I embraced early on in my career, and still to remind myself to this day, and that's the idea of like being willing to lose the battle in order to win the war. And I think strategic losing as a mindset like is a good thing to have in deal making. And that comes up when you're negotiating a deal. Like there's certain deal points that you need to lose on to win the big picture for the deal, get the deal for your client. There's certain times you're dealing with another broker and you know that they're just gonna kick your butt this time, and you're not gonna burn a bridge with them. Like you're in this sales career for the long haul. You want to build a career out of it. You're not trying to win every deal. You're not trying to even win every year. Like you're just trying to create something that lasts a long time, right? So embrace the body of the mindset of, I don't care if I lose a battle here and there. In fact, I'm willing to. I want to win the war. I want to be there at the end. I want to put 25, 35 years up and do a job well done.
Yeah, I was really, I'm really interested and curious to think through what you said. You're not even trying to win every year. Like basically you're saying you're trying to be around 25, 30 years in, which most people are not. Right.
Yeah.
So it's sort of fighting the attrition, like just stay in the game, do what you need to stay in the game in a healthy way. Which is that is a very interesting point that I hadn't really thought of.
Well, ultimately, it's the best thing for you and your clients. You become, to build a reputation where it's like, you're not going to humiliate the other side. You're not going to create win-lose scenarios. You're always looking for win-win. You could take a loss. You don't inject your ego into the deal. You're not going to overcook a deal, overbroker it. Like, you don't do that, and you become the type of person that people will want to work with over and over again. And you'll create better outcomes for your clients. You just will.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and maybe that's a good place to end is if you do a good job as a broker, people are going to see you win a lot. People are going to see that you did a great job for the client, and people are going to know that. I mean, there are many deals where you could make the case that brokers are underpaid sometimes and overpaid sometimes. Whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, there's.
Of course.
Obviously, there's a financial end to winning in the game, but I really do believe that during those losses, or during the time where a deal feels apart, or during the time where a deal might fall apart, is when you really show your true character, and
100%.
That's what people remember. How gracious you were when it didn't work out and you didn't win, and there wasn't a giant paycheck.
Or you advise the client to do something which totally doesn't benefit you. I've walked into a client. I've been trying to work with this group for 6 years. I went in and, they told me the deal their landlord proposed to them. I said, you should just take that deal. Don't even hire me. Like, just take that deal. Maybe we do better. Like, it was such a good deal. And it's like, yeah, I mean, they were, I think, surprised to hear that, but it's like, that was the right advice. Hopefully I'm building trust, and one day there may be a payday there, or maybe not, but at least I go to bed at night thinking I was just honest. I said the best thing, and I can stand by that.
I love it, man. Okay. Well, fair enough. It's all about intangibles to get deals done. Sean, appreciate your thoughts on this, and hopefully y'all enjoyed this. And my friend, thank you.
Yeah, buddy.
A little
summer vibes, man. We're gonna
summer vibes.
We're gonna enjoy
summer
it.
Vibes are happening. Your pool's open. Kids are off school. People are listening to podcasts, hopefully. And with that, this has been Sales Life.